Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Jennifer McCraw, and I am your host for How to Advertise Your Upcoming League. I hope that you are as excited about this webinar as I am. We have some awesome panelists here today. First, I want to start off by introducing our panelists to you. So panelists, you can show your faces. Our first panelist is Brad Winter. Brad is the Community Engagement and Activities Director at First Baptist Church, Owensboro, Kentucky. They have been a partner with Upward Sports for 24 years, and they run basketball and cheerleading. Welcome, Brad.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited about being a part of this, and Andrea and Drew are awesome, so you're in for a treat.
Thanks for joining, Brad. We also have Andrea Pruitt. Andrea is the league director at Somerville Baptist Church in Somerville, South Carolina. They are our 25-year partner this year, and they have been doing basketball and cheerleading for 25 years, and Andrea has just started volleyball there. So I'm excited that Andrea is here as a first-year league director for volleyball. So Andrea, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
We're glad you're here. And then we have Drew Landgren. Drew is the children and sports pastor at New Hope Community Church in Queensbury, New York. They are a 7-year partner, and they actually have been doing soccer for 7 years. And this year they have picked up adding basketball. So Drew, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and to collaborate together.
Well, this is going to be a great webinar. So for you guys that are joining in, first, I want to let you know, this is a place where we're giving a giveaway today. We have not normally done a giveaway on a webinar that is live. So what I want you to do is, if you are here, I want you to put in your church name and your name in the chat feature. And if you will do that at the end of our time today, we're going to put all names into a bucket, and I will draw one out, and you will receive the marketing bundle. And our marketing bundle consists of 1,000 customized promo cards, 30 customized posters, 5 promo card display holders, and 2 awesome Upward Sports backpacks. So in the chat feature, put your church name and make sure that you put your name. And we are over here tallying them up and putting them into a bucket, and we will draw that at the end of today's webinar. So that is an exciting thing. Also, just to add one more fun thing, we want to answer questions. So as we go along, put your question in the chat box, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. So let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about 6 best practices of advertising your upcoming league. Now, I want to say that, does this mean you need to do all 6 of these practices at one time? You may not. It may not work for you. And you'll hear that as we go along today. So let's get started. Our first best practice, number 1, is complement, don't compete with your community. So complement, don't compete with your community. When you create your league timeline in our system, in My Upward, you are able to put your key dates. A couple of things I want to help you remember are discounts. When you advertise to your community, discounts are big. One, you're able to give parents a discount. And one of those is, if you want to give them a $15 off by a certain date, you can give them an early bird registration. That is a way to bring in registrations. You can also offer sibling discounts to help families out. And then you can also offer coach discounts. So it is important that you make sure your community knows that you're there to help support families, coaches, and give discounts. And then one thing about complimenting your community is making sure when you create your timeline, you know what's going on within your community. So let me ask you this question, Brad. Brad is a little unique here in that he is in a partnership. It is called Owensboro Upward. I see it behind you. Thanks for sharing your logo with us. And what Brad does, there's several churches that work together in a partnership to offer an upward sports ministry in their community. So Brad, tell me a little bit, after leading a league that is a partnership, how do you make sure that you guys do not compete with what's going on within the churches as well as what's going on within your community?
Yeah, so today actually I just talked to pretty much the main leader of the group in a sense, and we were talking about getting other churches together. But when we get together, we try to get together before the season starts, before registration starts. So we're going to gather in August, and we're just going to talk about what we have going on in our churches, what's on our schedules, what's it look like for evaluations, so we can have them on the same day. What's it look like for end of the season celebrations? We can have it all together as one. And so there's different things going on to where we can work together with each other, not competing. And then we also have a unified web page, and I know we'll talk about that later. But so instead of saying, hey, if you want to play at Bellevue, you want to play at OCC, you want to play at First Baptist, just go to owensboroupper.org, and then you can register for your league, where you want to play, what grade you want to play in. And so, we try to collaborate. And then we also look at the community calendar as well and see what's going on. So we're not competing with local sports leagues as well.
That's great. Andrea, help me understand. I know you started volleyball this year for the first time, and you want to make sure that being a part of community is important. So tell me how you build credibility. You're starting this brand new sport that's been going on. Volleyball is a big sport in Somerville, but you're adding a new program to Somerville Baptist. So tell us how you build that credibility the first year out of the gate without competing.
So the biggest thing that I felt brought numbers to my league was I was a part of the local rec league, and I taught classes and clinics and camps there. And I met a lot of people through that. And so I was able to reach out to all of the people who I had their children in my camps, my clinics, and different things, and tell them like, hey, here's the league that I was telling you I was going to try and get together. And here we are. And so I emailed 160 people and was able to really build up my program in big ways just by being a part of other programs in the community. And then I think the other part of it was we chose a season that wasn't a typical volleyball season for other leagues in the area. A lot of them do fall or winter. We did ours in the spring. And so it allowed kids who play in their high school leagues and different things to be able to play when they're not playing for their high schools and middle schools and stuff. So I think that allowed more people to be a part of our league.
That's awesome. So if I heard you guys correctly, getting the word out there is important, but making sure that you are involved in your community. And Brad, I love what you said. You had to look at the community timeline so that you're able to complement that. So complement, don't compete with your community. You're putting out there a sports ministry for the community, but you also want to make sure that you recognize fall events that are coming up, trunk or treats. Maybe you have an event that is a community-wide event that your church is already going to be a part of. So make sure that you complement, don't compete. Great. Our second one is include enough of an advertising window in your timeline. That is very important. And we were talking, guys, here that we feel a lot of times this is the hiccup that happens. Everybody has been praying about their league. They've been praying about the sport that they want to offer. They are putting that out there. They've been planning. And a lot of times they actually skip the advertising step and go right to finding coaches or getting ready for their first evaluation. And they're really skip this whole part of advertising. I would say make sure you give yourself enough time. I would tell you honestly, 8 to 12 weeks is a great time of an advertising window. If you're on here and you've already got your league created and you haven't given yourself 8 weeks, don't panic. We're going to talk about that right here. How you can still make sure that your community is aware. But if you are a partner that is about to start a new sport, or even you're looking at basketball for the winter, now's a great time to begin advertising because you're able to give yourself a full 8 to 12 weeks. So Drew, this is where I'm gonna ask you. You're starting basketball. You've been doing soccer for 7 years and now you're starting basketball. So tell me how you're planning now to give yourself enough time to add out a new sport to the community.
I mean, I say too early, almost as you know,
We
you
can't,
know that was.
we can't hear you. You're breaking up a little bit. Try again.
I'm not
No,
I just,
hold up, Drew. We still can't hear you. I think there might be a connection maybe with your ear, maybe your headset. Maybe you can take a look at it. While you're doing that, let me ask you, Andrea, you've added volleyball this year. So tell me how you gave yourself enough time while Drew's looking at that.
Time was the one thing I didn't have a lot of because we were new and basketball season was already in progress, and we didn't even have a volleyball net system in our gym yet. I didn't have a lot of time. So my biggest thing was just trusting that whatever I did and however I could get the word of mouth out there to people, it was God that was going to bring the people. And so I just want those of you to know who are, thinking about starting it up, that even if you feel like you don't have a lot of time, just trust that God will take care of it and he will bring the people to you, because I was very, very short on time and digging holes to put our net system in underneath the foundation of our church 2 weeks before we got started. So, so just trust that God will take care of it and he will bring the people to your program that need to be walking through your doors, because that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that, Andrea. That's one thing we were talking about a couple of days ago, is really making sure you've prayed about this and you're planning. But at the end of the day, all of these strategies that we have, God will bless and he will provide the players that you need. Drew, let's try one more time and see how things are going. So tell me again about insights you have on getting the word out for this new sport you're planning.
All right. Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yay, we got you.
Good. All right. Apologies. Yeah, we're up in upstate New York at summer camp, so things are a little wild here. So yeah, you can never start advertising early enough. What we say, if you start thinking that you're being obnoxious to the community, they're just understanding it, they're just digesting it, they're just seeing it. Starting in February, we start advertising for the summer. Now we live in New York. If you look outside in February, there's like 3 feet of snow. People are out shoveling, throwing salts on the sidewalks. But those moms, they're thinking, hey, summer vacation's coming up. When are we going to do VBS? When are we going to do all the summer activities? And the same way, so that 8 to 12 weeks, really as early as you can start, the better.
Absolutely. So 8 to 12 weeks is our sweet spot. However, Andrea mentioned, if you have to cut it short, work hard and get the word out. Make sure you're praying about that. Brad, let me ask you a question. You just finished camps that you guys throw to the community, camps and connect events, one-day events. Tell me how you utilize what happens in the summer and early fall, really to pave the way for your winter leagues. Tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have a camp coming up, 265 kids. Last year we had 215, and what I did was I took that list that we had at the end of camp, and I just sent an email out in September and said, hey, we have a great sports league for your kids, kindergarten through 8th grade. And I sent it out in September, and I said, so we'd love to have you guys join us. Connect Camp was great, but let's follow that up with having fun in our sports leagues as well. And so yeah, so I think we talked about this on Monday a little bit, but just we need utilize what you already have going on. So if you have events going on like a school palooza or a trunk or treat, like you said, or something else is going on, utilize those. And so whether it's actually advertising during the event or if you're doing registration for giveaways, use that list, say, hey, look, this is what we have going on. We have a basketball league, we have a soccer league, we have volleyball, we have cheerleading, like whatever you have going on, you utilize those leagues to reach out. And obviously you can use past leagues. That's never a bad idea. Go back to your past leagues the year before and email them and say, hey, we hope you had a great season. We had a lot of fun with you last year. We'd love for you guys to come back and join us again for this season. Here's how to register. And so and it sounds pretty simple, but just I think sometimes we forget that we had those resources already available to us. And so just make sure we're utilizing our events that we already have in those lists to reach out to families about our leagues coming up.
Absolutely. I love how you are using other opportunities like Connect Camp or even a VBS to get the word out of what is coming up. So I do see that it looks like our chat feature is not working correctly. Don't panic. There's a Q&A section and I can see people putting questions in there. So if you want to, in the connection section, I already see that Providence United Methodist Church is in there. So you go ahead and put your name and the church in the Q&A, and we are going ahead and monitoring those. If you have questions, put those in there as well. And then what we'll do is we'll circle back around. So thanks for letting me know that. I see them coming in. Keep them coming. That's awesome. All right, let's talk about the third one. Have an active, and I underlined active, social media presence. If you are going to have social media, you need to be active on it. Sometimes, I don't know about you, if you go to someone's Facebook page and it's from 2016, you almost feel, are they up to date? Is this a relevant program, or is this a relevant ministry? So if you're going to have a Facebook page or an Instagram page, make sure you update it. That's very important. So a couple of things here I wanted to let you know is, one, Facebook ads. After today, I'm going to send you an email with some best practices of how you can manage social media, as well as a 5-step process of how to create your own Facebook ad through Facebook. Facebook now plugs into Instagram, so you can create a Facebook ad and it will push that to Instagram and Messenger all at the same time. Make sure, a couple of fun facts I want you to know is, make sure you choose your radius. Don't choose the entire United States. Choose within a 25-mile radius of your city. Make sure your budget is set. I would say $20 to $25 per day for 10 to 15 days will really get the word out there. And make sure you choose the correct image. If you're offering volleyball, make sure you're showing a volleyball player. Video is fun. I know Andrea talks a lot about how she uses video. We'll get to that. Video is fun. And use hashtags. Hashtag youth volleyball or hashtag play with purpose, especially on Instagram when you use those hashtags. Also, we have just expanded our social media meme libraries in My Upward. So you are now able to use seasoned communication that we provide, as well as continuing to do ministry through your social media platforms, through our practice card scriptures that you're able to share with families, moms, dads, grandparents on your social outlets. Also, make sure you follow Upward Sports on all of these outlets as well, because we will continue to provide you with things that you can then reshare out to your group. So Facebook ads are key. Instagram ads are very important. Let's don't forget a Facebook page. Maybe this Facebook page is completely different from your church Facebook page. It is your sports ministry page. This is an example that I got from Andrea. This is Somerville Baptist Upward Volleyball League. So you follow them at SBC Volleyball. And this is where Andrea created the hype for her volleyball league, and she promoted this to her community. So Andrea, in this, having an active Facebook page, tell me how you began your volleyball presence through Facebook, and how you interacted with your parents through this page pre-league as well as during your league.
So I really used this knowing that, you know, the majority of people that you're trying to reach are parents, and most parents are going to be on Facebook. I felt that this was going to be my most effective way to reach that age group of people that I was looking for, who would have kids that would be, you know, eligible for our league. So I created the page beforehand so that that's where I could put my link to the signups, and I could post every day or every other day about, hey, our signups are live, our early bird registration ends this time, you know, you can get a discount for siblings, all the kinds of things that you talked about earlier that would bring people in. I posted that on the Facebook page. And then during the season, every parent wants to see their kid, you know, like they want to see pictures of their kids, they want to see video of their kids playing sports. And so when their kid appeared on our page, we got parents who were like, hey, I love the pictures. The videos this weekend were great. Like, they were so fun to see. And so we got a lot of great interaction each week. And we made a priority that every week we added pictures from our games on the weekends to our page so that they knew they were fresh and it was exciting. And each week they, you know, maybe their kid wasn't in last week's pictures, but they're going to be in this week. So it was kept them coming back to the page, but it also gave them a place when they met somebody who was interested in volleyball to say, hey, go follow their page. And so now those people may not have a kid in the program this year, but they might next year now. So I just feel it's a great way to reach a lot of people. Or if I was out in the grocery store and I was talking to somebody and we were talking, volleyball came up, I'd say, hey, follow my Facebook page at Somerville Baptist Upward Volleyball League or at SBC Volleyball. And so it was a great way to have fun with it, and, you know, have the parents be proud. And it was a neat way to connect with everybody.
That's awesome. I love how I followed your page too. So I love how you're keeping it fresh and the videos are awesome. So if you're looking at a Facebook page, I will send you some helpful hints and tips and tricks as well so that you can continue to keep it fresh as well. So Drew, tell me a little bit about personalizing your league. That's one thing that really intrigued me as you and I were talking about how you advertise. You mentioned that you personalize pictures and video. Now I know a first year league will have to gain this footage as they go. But let's say now, and that's what you're going to do for basketball, you have to gain that this year. But for soccer, that's been taking place for 7 years. Tell us how you breed community when you personalize pictures and videos.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we always advertise now with our personal people, whether it's coaches or players. And the main reason being is when you share those, people recognize those players. We just advertised one of our coaches, you know, he's looking at some of the players in our advertisement, and people are like, oh, hey, that's Coach Royce. He's awesome. If you are a 5-year-old or whatever and under, he's the coach you want to be with. Sign up today, request him, yada, yada, yada. Like, and that happens all over. And then when you do it throughout the season, kind of like what Andrea said, people are going to see that. People are going to share that, right? So, hey, look what Delaney did this weekend. This is awesome. It's, oh, hey, she plays soccer. I didn't know that. Where do you play soccer? How do you do that? And that just builds and builds and builds. It exposes your league, exposes your church family to your community. And that's what you want.
That's awesome. I love how you personalize that as a mom. If when I see my child on there, I will also reshare that out. And that is another way for you guys to continue to share that platform. Andrea, were you going to share something?
Yep. The one thing that I wanted to mention too was I found it very important to make sure that the paper that people filled out when they came in for our evaluations, that they signed a permission that we could put their children's picture online, because there are fostering situations and different things where those kids' pictures can't be online. So it's always really important, if you're going to do that, to make sure that you have permission from every parent to do so.
That's a great point. Thank you so much for reminding us that. And if you're a current partner, under the League Director Facebook page, I saw there was an enhancement that was released. So visit the League Director Facebook page and see about the waiver out there as well. All right, let's keep moving. We're on number 4, so we're going to speed up a little bit here because I want you guys to hear the very last point, as these guys are super passionate about our number 6. So our 4th one is to build a website or update your church website. One thing that we were talking about on Monday as we were going through different things in this group, we talked about how the website or your church website is really what tells the community who you are. This is where new visitors, they come to your website, they figure out when your worship times are, they also can connect with you. They will look and see who your staff members are and see who is the sports director or who is the children's ministry director. That way they have a face with a name, and they're also seeing how they can get engaged with the church. So number 1, adding on your church website a sports drop down or a recreation drop down is a great place for you guys to put your league that's coming up. Or Brad will talk in a few minutes about having a standalone web page that is for a partnership, or it could be for volleyball that is connected off of your church webpage. So there are multiple different ways in which you can do it. One thing I would tell you is it needs to be updated. You have to keep it up to date. Also, when you're adding a registration link, that registration link doesn't need to send them to 6 other different clicks. One click to one registration, and you can send them right back to your My Upward online registration link from there. So I want to show you some examples. And the one on the left is Drew's webpage. You can see it says we have 3 primary ministries: Kids Church, Awana on Sunday nights, and Upward Soccer. So he is telling the community, these are our 3 kids ministry outreach programs that you can get involved in. So Drew, tell me a little bit about how offering sports ministry and telling them right here, telling them that that is one of your 3 primary ministries, how has that increased new families coming into your church?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite questions. For us, what we say, sports ministry is a bridge to the community. What can start as a soccer league can turn into an incredible gospel witnessing opportunity. Because the average person that isn't connected to a church family, they may never set foot in a church building on a random weekend, on a random Sunday. But their kids will play soccer. Their kids will play sports. And once they get involved, they say, you know what, these church people, they're not so bad. And all of a sudden, like, you know what, maybe I will check out on the weekend. And right there, boom, there's your gospel opportunity. And that happens even without almost us even doing anything, even us just providing the opportunity to get to know our people, our coaches. That just breeds community, that breeds care. And that's super effective.
Absolutely. I love how you share the story of making sure that you bridge into your community and telling your families that come to soccer. Maybe you don't choose all 3, but it is a great entry point. Soccer, now basketball, is a great entry point. The one on the right is what a partnership website looks like. This is Owensboro Upward. You can see it tells you to meet the team. And if you click on it, you see each team member from the different churches. When I click leagues, I know exactly where I'm going and where I'm registering my child. So Brad, tell me a little bit about the importance that you have seen of using one web page versus 7 different churches having different pages.
Yeah, one, if you're going to do a cohesive league, you got to show people that you're willing to be in this together. And so when you're saying, well, we're always for Upward, but you want me to go to this Facebook page or that Facebook page or this website to register, it's just a mess. And so when I came on last year, I said, hey, why don't we just do one simple website? And so if you're looking at doing it, and I would say, even if you're not doing a cohesive website for a collective group, I would say still there's a couple of things. One, like, please update it. Like, again, no one wants to see something from 2016. 2, keep it simple. I mean, most of these places you can go for website builders are really like, it's website building for dummies. I mean, it literally will walk you through step by step on how to make a website. 2, make it simple. You don't want to come in, there's pictures everywhere and font boxes are just scattered throughout the page. And even if you think it's cool by doing a little pattern of text boxes, it's not. And so there's a few things. And then really, like I said, make it simple. And then if you can, find your own pictures. The front picture there is from the Upward website. And on the league pages, I asked other league directors for pictures from their league if they had them. This year, I was able to take a ton of pictures. And so we're going to update a lot of those pictures for this year. But again, you just want to make it simple. Keep it updated. Try to put in your own pictures. Like I said, personalization, Drew already talked on this, is huge. And realistically, keep it up to date. So it's just a lot easier, again, to say go to owensboroupward.org than saying, well, what grade are you in and what church you want to play. And so, like, instead of asking 16 questions, go to owensboroupward.org. You can find your leagues there and you can register.
That's awesome. And if you can see to the right, the register now button is very prominent, and it tells a parent exactly where they need to go. So that's great. All right, our next one, number 5, is don't forget traditional advertising. A lot of times we forget this. People respond in different ways. Some people respond through Facebook, they've seen it. Sometimes they will watch a video, they've seen it again. And now this one is more of some tangible goods that you can use. So here's some ideas that we have gathered together from different directors. Local radio stations are key. Postcards in mailboxes. We actually provide you with postcards that you customize. Canvas your neighborhoods with your youth groups. Customize your promo cards. Registration tables at schools. Now's a great time because schools are getting ready to start. VBS, trunk or treat, Easter egg hunts, your church events. Brad hit that on Connect and Camp events he's doing. Email your current list of children from past programs that you have done or children's events. Also, don't forget your mom's morning out or your Christian school that is attached to your church. Send out emails through there. E-flyers for your school. We hear all the time, Peach Jar is great. There's another app called Meetup, and you can put your sports location in there and then use Nextdoor for neighborhoods. That is great. And the oldie but goodie I love is billboards and yard signs. Traffic is long and you're sitting there. That's a great way for people to read what is going on. So don't forget your traditional advertising, and getting the word into schools is important. So let me ask you a question, Drew. One thing about you that I loved was you said, hey, Jennifer, I am not able to even advertise in our schools. And I know there are people on here that are probably in the same boat. So how do you continue to grow when you're not able to place advertising materials in the school?
Great question. And yeah, if you're watching this, you're saying, I'm like you can do it. Okay. Just because you can't get in the schools, you can do it. Okay. For us, social media and also partnership with a lot of our church family members. We have a lot of church family members who are involved in all different kind of community activities. So getting them on board with you, trying to get that partnership. This isn't just we're just doing just a sports ministry's got. No, this is a church-wide ministry. People are going to hear the gospel. For us, our main is social media, Facebook, Instagram. That's what we push. And we ask all of our church family members, if you're able to, hey, share the registration link, share it with others. Hey, here are the pamphlets we have. Pass those out to everyone you know. And it works.
That's awesome. I heard a couple of stories before too that we were talking about this. If you have local restaurants in your community, ask them to put your promo cards in the kids' meals, a local Chick-fil-A, or maybe you have a unique restaurant in your area that partners with your church. Ask them to put that promo card in the kids' meal. Another fun story that we love to do at our church is we will tie them up, the promo cards together, and we ask Sunday school classes to take them with them and canvass their own neighborhood or give them to someone at their job. Here's one. Give one to your friend as well. So spread that. This was a big question that we carried on a good conversation with on Monday as we were talking. So how do you involve your entire church as a way to help get the word out to the community, guys? We talked about we don't want sports ministry to be a siloed event from the church. It is part of the church. So Andrea, tell me a little bit about that. How do you involve the entire church?
So I every Sunday before our service starts, there's always a scrolling video of, different things that are going to be happening in the church. So a big part of it was, showing what was going on. Like, here's what's happening in volleyball halfway through the season, or before the season started, like to advertise, like letting everybody in the church know. I mean, we run like 1,000 people on a Sunday. So 1,000 people looking at that screen saying, hey, volleyball's happening. That's 1,000 people that can go out and talk to anybody else who knows somebody whose kid plays volleyball or some way to, get more word out there. So that's really a big part of how I did it, was making sure that that was in front of the entire congregation every Sunday.
Brad, you and Drew, we talked a lot about, hey, the gospel's a big deal. I mean, we are sharing the invite so that people come to our church so that we can share the gospel. Any other insight on getting the entire church to rally behind this outreach effort that's reaching the community?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I think we can all sit here and say that nobody reads the bulletin, right? So the last thing we need to do, although it's fun to put in the bulletin, don't expect that to be the last resort. I mean, nobody reads it. And so the big thing is, like Andrea said, like play, I mean, take a highlight video that you showed at your awards night last year and show it when the season's coming up. I mean, get people excited. And then another thing I was talking about is, personal, why do people go to Chick-fil-A? It's not necessarily because their chicken's amazing. It is good, but it's because everybody, all their friends say, oh, the Chick-fil-A is great. You should go eat their chicken sandwich. And so Chick-fil-A can probably pop up anywhere and they don't need to sit there and advertise because word of mouth carries it for them. So the thing that you need to think about is if I have somebody who can stand up on the stage, and I'll let Drew had a really cool story, but if you can take your cool God stories and you can share them to your church. So like when I have an older lady who led 2 girls to Christ last year at Connect Camp, get up and share about Connect Camp, people are gonna be like, man, that's awesome. Like, I want to be a part of that. I want to make a difference. And so when you have your coaches, maybe you have a player, maybe you have a 5-year-old or 6-year-old who loved the league, or maybe a 10-year-old who's willing to get up in front of everybody and say, this is why I loved playing in Upright last year. It's a big deal. And people love kids, right? So you just got to think of who can you put up on the stage in front of people to talk about your program. Because again, nobody reads the bulletin. Please don't use that as your last resort. Find somebody to speak in front of your church.
Yeah, I like that, Brad. Yeah, find your champion for sports ministry. Who are your champions? That's what you want. Yeah, he said a story, so I want to share a story with you. So a couple years ago, we had a coach that was coaching almost for the first time. She'd coach at a couple of like our soccer clinics, but she wanted, hey, I'll do a team this year. And she said, no, I might need a little bit of help. So we had pretty much a random mom join in with her, no connection to church, no nothing. And throughout the whole season, she like got involved, all of a sudden started coming to church, eventually got saved, baptized. And last year she said, hey, what that coach did for me, I want to do for somebody else, really making disciples. So she came to know the Lord, baptized, and hey, I want to go do that for another mom that needs the Lord. That is like the pinnacle of what we're trying to do here. It's not just kids we're reaching, it's adults as well.
I love that. One thing that I want you guys to know is advertising is so important because we're sharing an invite so that we have the opportunity to share Christ. So we can have those God moment stories that Drew just mentioned. So don't forget traditional advertising. That's easy to forget. These are some examples. I want everybody to see. These are the promo cards, the postcards, e-flyers, posters. We offer more that you are able to access through us. We update these yearly so they match, the themes so that you are able to get those out. Our last one, which is my favorite, is don't underestimate the power of word of mouth. Word of mouth is the oldie but the goodie. The one thing about power of word of mouth is it can hurt you or help you. So as much as we have positive word of mouth, it is important that we make sure that we have a power of good experience here, or it will share about how bad the experience was here. So we want to make sure. One thing that I looked up and I thought was really neat is 58% of millennials ages 18 through 34 have children today. And it says that the number one way that they find out what they want their children to be a part of is they ask their friends. And they want their friends to tell them what is a good place where we can play together. So they're sharing it with each other. And a lot of times they are sharing it on social as well, but they're talking about it. So it's very important that we have word of mouth. So let's talk a little bit about that. Drew, tell us about how word of mouth, you talk a lot about that, has helped you continue to grow. You talked about your first year, you had 30 players, and then 7 years in, you're over 100. So tell us a little bit about word of mouth and how that continues to help you grow.
Yeah, 2 words that constantly stick out for us are quality and consistency. If you can tie those 2 together, if you can have a quality league, my first year, I was just jumping in. I never heard of Upward before. And I was like, all right, let's kind of see what this is. And I went through, we used cones, we didn't have flags, we used all the age groups had the same size goals. And so, you know, we need to make some steps forward. So we started painting lines, we got the corner flags, we got the appropriate size goals for soccer. And taking those steps forward, that just built and built and built. And we actually saw our biggest growth through the pandemic, which is like, that's a weird sentence to say anyway. So because we pressed on, because we were consistent in everything we did, and it was of a high quality, the word of mouth just exploded. I mean, we went from 30, 40 kids to 60 kids to 160 kids to 230 plus kids in just a couple of years.
That's awesome. So consistency is key. I want to, Andrea, you mentioned to me, Jennifer, I do game day well. You said creating a great experience on game day is my biggest advertisement to our community. Give me a little bit of insight into that.
So because I had participated in other local rec leagues as a coach and the parent of a player, I had seen how most of them made the kids just seem like a registration fee. And I wanted the kids in my league to feel like they were more to us than a registration fee. And so my husband, who I couldn't do this without, has a sports background, so and a broadcasting background. So he was able to help me create an atmosphere on our game days that was unlike any other rec league here. We had music, we had the kids' names up on the screens with their logo of their team. We announced them, they ran across the court to, you know, wave to their parents on the crowd, and we had music playing, and it was like you were at a college college volleyball game, you know, like it was fun and exciting. And, you know, people walked out of there like, whoa, that doesn't ever happen at any other league that we've done. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to set ourselves apart to let them know that they do mean more to us than a number. You know, they are more than a registration fee to us, that we want to make them feel like they're important to us, because they are. And the most important thing is that, you know, they feel that. And the way that we did that was by, you know, creating that excitement each Saturday. And, you know, it was 12 hours of volleyball on a Saturday is what we spent. You know, for a first time season, we had 162 kids. We had to close our registration early, and I know next year I'm going to have a bigger waiting list, and I'm going to have to turn more people away, which is going to break my heart, but I can't handle more than 162 kids, you know, in 18 teams. So, but I know that those people are going to come back because they know that their kids felt special. And that's what I wanted. I wanted us to be a different caliber of what was out there already.
Jump in real quick. I think what Andrew's saying is super important. So we're talking about advertising, right? Highlight the things that your league does that no other league around you in your community does. Player intros has been probably the biggest thing that we advertise. Hey, we do player intros. And people go, what are those? Like, they don't even know what they are. So advertise those things that you do in your league that no one else does.
Yeah, and I'll say too, like, Andrew, I mean, hit the nail on the coffin. Like, your experience, like, why, like, I was a pre-vet major at one point, and a girl said, I'm going to go to Auburn vet school. And I said, oh, because their football program? And she looked at me like I was crazy. So, like, why would I want to go to Auburn? Well, because their football program is amazing. And, well, it can be. I'm not an Auburn fan, but, you know, like, that you get the experience, you get the fun, you're pumped up, you have big matchups coming in, you're on college game day. And so you're not going because it might have, I mean, some people are, but if you're a sports person, you're going because I get to have fun. I get to experience an unmatched environment. And so, I mean, when I went to Oklahoma City before here, and we have a flag football league that at the high for that point was like 75. Well, why did I spend 3-4 hours on Friday painting the fields, painting the end zones, you know, making sure that we have a smoker on Friday to do some tailgating and having long games and doing big theme days? Did it wear me out? Yes. But I mean, our numbers grew to 150 before I left. And so, and it's not because of me, it's because they got to experience a fun game day. And so when you, and with the world today, with sports where, you know, and I know Andrea hit on this in our Monday thing, like, you're getting yelled at constantly, or, you know, parents are dropping F-bombs like crazy in the game, or maybe, you know, you see parents fight on the sideline, whatever the case may be, or you want to make your game days fun. You want people to come back. Like I looked at Andrea's Facebook page while we were meeting on Monday, and it was really cool. Like the Cinderella story, and like she was highlighting what you would see maybe on ESPN or Sports Center or Fox Sports in her league. And so when kids see that, they feel special. And so you just got to make sure, like, why are you turning the lights off and buying lights? Or why are you popping 9 confetti poppers off in the sanctuary during awards night? Because the kids love it. I mean, I had to kick kids out on our awards night because they were making confetti angels and didn't want to leave. And so you just got to make sure, like, what you're offering, like, yes, you got to put in a lot of effort, you know, and I know some people might not be on staff, but if you want people to come to your leagues, you got to make it worthwhile, and not just, you know, oh, well, our coach knew Susie's name. Like it was a blast. Like our kids can't wait. You know, we made tunnels every day for game day. And then I stopped one game day and they're like, hey, where'd the tunnels go? We like to line up and give our kids high five as they ran out the locker rooms. And so you just got to make sure, like, you elevate it, that you see it, like Drew said, advertise that stuff. I mean, you know, if you're going to paint if you're going to put a logo in the end zone, like do a short little like pan shot on a video and say, you know, flag football is coming. You know, if you go to a rec league, you're not getting spray painted fields. They might have great fields, but they're not spray painting their end zones. And so you just got to make sure, like they always say, like, you got to highlight those things and people will see it. Like when you look at Andrea's volleyball page and they have, you know, the team names above where the families or the teams are sitting in the stands. So like, you know, where your fan section is. I mean, you just got to make it fun. And at the end of the day, if you can make it fun, that word of mouth, that Chick-fil-A power will just kind of come with it.
I love that. And I do honestly feel and believe that it is so important for us to make families feel welcome. Something as simple as writing a name like Andrea does for her teams. This is where this team is sitting. So they know this is their first time into church a lot of times. So you are able to make them feel welcome. So make sure when you're advertising, don't underestimate the power of word of mouth. We're wrapping up. We're going to answer a couple questions and then we'll do our giveaway. I want to end with this quote from a league director. He says, through our advertising efforts, we are making the community aware of a sports league for their child, period. It could end there, correct? However, I love how he keeps going. He says, that league experience then turns into an opportunity where our church can introduce the entire family to Jesus. Our sports ministry tells our community, you are welcome here. So I want to end by saying there are 6 best practices that we gave you today, from sharing it with word of mouth to let me walk you through how to set up a Facebook ad. We will provide you with all of the social media images, the traditional advertising, remind you to give those discounts and to complement, not compete your league. We can give you all of those, but at the end of the day, the whole purpose of advertising is that's your invitation. That is where you are inviting someone to come to your league for the whole purpose of sharing Jesus. And that is why we do what we do. So Brad, Andrea, Drew, you guys are awesome. I'm thankful for your knowledge, your years of commitment, even if this is your first year, and even picking up new sports, Drew, like you did this year, because you're wanting to continue to build momentum in the community and to add excitement. So I'm going to open it up to a couple of questions here because we did have an issue with the chat feature. We're going to the Q&A. One question that someone emailed in was they are looking at wanting to be able to add volleyball for boys as well as girls co-ed, and they wanted to know, is there advertising material that contains male and female? So yes, that answer is yes. We offer both of those. Let me look. The next one says, how do you offer discounts to coaches for their children to play if they have already registered? Is it time consuming to issue many refunds? And do you issue a discount to all coaches or for the purpose of recruiting additional? So let's answer a couple of those. So how do you offer it if they've already registered? That is going to be a manual process at this point. However, on the front end, you can create a discount code online through My Upward, and you can give that out. Example, Coach 20, and it would be $20 off And so they could then get that off when they coach. That would have to be on the front end. So I can answer that one. But you guys, do you issue a discount to all coaches? Anybody want to take that one?
Yeah, for us, we do. Yeah, I don't know if we advertise it, but in terms of, people say, hey, we're looking to coach. Are there any like discounts or helps with that? We say yes, definitely. And when we talk to people, it gives us another outlet. Hey, we're looking for coaches, and also we do discounts if your kids are already playing or looking to play. Here's, for us, we do $10 off the registration fee.
That's great. Anybody else? Andrea, Brad, in regard to discount for coaches?
Well, being our first year, we definitely needed coaches, especially when our numbers went up so quickly. And so I was like, I need to find some people. And I did create a coach discount code. And so anybody that, was talking to me about possibly helping out, I was like, well, if you help me out, there's a discount for you too. And so I was able to recruit a couple more just because of the discount. So it definitely helped as far as coaching goes. And then it's always, having a sibling discount is always good. There's always going to be more than, a lot of mine had siblings, older, younger in our program. So a sibling discount is always a good way to, bring more kids in as well.
Yeah, we don't offer codes. I'm a little stingy. I just bug the snot out of people until they code. But maybe this year we'll offer a code.
That's awesome. There's one last question I see, and then we'll do the giveaway. I know everybody's hanging on really tight for the giveaway. So we're about to do it. One lady put in here that they are starting late fall for their Upward Sports ministry, and said they won't have pictures already. I guess the personalization. So what is your suggestion if we don't have personalization? I'll answer that, and I can open it to you guys, especially Drew. You don't have pictures for personalization for basketball, but Melissa, it says that we offer you all of your images through our advertising site. So when you log into My Upward, you can access all of that. And so for this year, you can definitely begin promoting with what we provide to you. And if you wanted to personalize that, some people don't have the time to do that. So we want to be there for you and give you everything that you need. So you could begin personalizing it as you go, if that's the choice you make. Drew, any insight into that as you're starting basketball?
Yeah, I would say for sure, use all the resources that Upward offers. And that's what we did for our soccer program. And if you have the time, if you know someone that is a photographer, you can say, hey, would you be able to donate a few minutes of your time? Maybe you take your own child, or a couple of kids that will be playing. Say, hey, do you have the jersey already? Or just go to a local gym, get some few action shots, and say, hey, I know that kid, when you share on your social media page. So yeah, use Upward, and if you know people, utilize them.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, like utilize your children's ministry. I mean, see if you can go to a class on a Sunday and say, hey, can we get 10 kids or 4 kids even to show up on a Sunday to our gym, and we'll take a few pictures, and we'll give you some free lunch or something. I don't know, but utilize your children's ministry if you need to as well.
If I can say something to that effect as well. I had been meeting with kids on Friday nights who just were interested in volleyball just for fun, to get them experience and open gym time. And so I had taken a few pictures during those open gym nights. We didn't have uniforms. It was just a bunch of kids playing for fun. And I just took a few pictures, and those were the first ones that were on my Facebook page. There was nothing other than that. And so it's, it's as simple as just a few snapshots, and that's what started our Facebook page. And then as soon as my first opportunity to get, Upward pictures and of our league and things, they were on my Facebook page.
I hope that those questions were answered for you guys. As you have other questions, we're always here to answer them, or I can get you connected with Brad, Andrea, and Drew. I know they would love to help you. So I'm going to do the drawing in just a second, but I want to thank you all for joining me today. I am going to close in prayer in just a minute, but if you're a current Upward partner and you are about to start your league, begin advertising now for this year. Parents are going to be looking for a place for their kids to play. We know connection is key right now. So offer the league, give them that place to register. And make it exciting, more exciting this year. Add a new sport even, as Drew is. We have volleyball that we launched last year as well. Pick that up and offer that to your community to be able to reach a different demographic. If you are new to sports ministry and you came on here today and you are just wanting to see what to do, we would love to have conversation with you. Go to upward.org/church-leaders. Schedule a call with us. We'd love to walk you through more materials that we have, resources, and just hear about what you're wanting to do in your community. We want to customize that to you for your church and for your kids in your community. So go online and schedule that. All right, I've got all the names here. So we've had, it looks like a great amount in here. So I'm scrolling in here and going to see who our winner is. And it is Faith Bible Baptist Church, Jason Nagorski. Faith Bible Baptist Church. That's super exciting. So if you are Jason, yay, we will reach out to you after this and give you your marketing bundle. So we're excited to help you advertise. I'm going to close this in prayer, but before I do, I want to say, Brad, Andrea, Drew, thank you so much for being panelists today. Let me close this in prayer. Dear Lord, I am just so thankful for today. Lord, as we walk through the 6 best practices of advertising, Lord, may we do our best and to make our community aware of a sports league, but Lord, for the purpose of sharing the gospel. Lord, for Brad, for Drew, for Andrea, Lord, I thank you for their dedication to sports, but Lord, for their love for you, to make the community around them aware. Lord, as we go through our day, may we continue to serve you in all we do. We love you, Lord. Amen. Thank you so much, guys, and I hope you guys have a great day.